Okay.
Hi everyone, it's Holly here at Faces and welcome to episode 5 of the Face It podcast. Today I am joined with Matt Smith, who's an advanced nurse practitioner, independent nurse prescriber and co-founder of MCS Aesthetics and Training Academy. So welcome Matt, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with me today. I just thought it would be great to get you on. Obviously, you're one of our prescribers on Faces, so a lot of people do know you, and you're obviously really successful at what you do. And I think it's great to kind of just have a chat about how you've got to where you are and your thoughts on kind of the industry on a whole as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Perfect. So how did you kind of get into aesthetics in the first place then? Because obviously you've been doing it for quite a while now.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of fell into it in a way. I mean, I started my nurse career, started in A&E in 2012, did my minor injuries, minor illness, then went on to do prescribing, which is when I moved across to GP practices. And at the time, my wife had started doing Botox and fillers, and the plan was for me to be her prescriber. And we'd always had a lot of problems trying to get a prescriber at the time, and they were charging 40, £50 for call outs, and it was really, really difficult. So yeah, the idea was for me to do my prescribing course and then help out alongside that. And then just over time, I went on to do my master's in advanced practice, and started working a bit more in GP practices and urgent care centres. And then it was never quite taken off for us originally. And then over time, I started going into prescribing for practitioners that couldn't prescribe, which is how I met my business partner Emma.
Yeah.
And saw that she was really good with consultations. Asked if she wanted to team up, and we created MCS Aesthetics, which we've only just recently started advertising. It seems to really have picked up, and I started trying to support more practitioners, and then the training academy came involved, and so it's just grown from strength to strength, really.
Oh, amazing. No, that's great. And I think particularly with the training side of things, I mean, so many practitioners are kind of taking the step into becoming an academy. How would you say that training has changed or developed since you obviously did your original training? Because there was a lot less academies out there then than there is now as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think for us personally, we've been on some really good courses. We've been on some really bad courses, and we've tried to create sort of a hybrid environment where we get more practical involved, and focus on certain aspects of theory rather than bombarding people with PowerPoints. It's trying to create an environment that suits the individual. And everyone's each to their own, aren't they? Everyone's got different ways of working, but that's how we found that benefits delegates, really.
Yeah, because I mean, some people will prefer to be in like a group of other people. Some people will prefer like one-to-one training. And I think, without the experience of going to different academies yourself, it'd be hard to kind of know what fits with your brand, and obviously what people want. And obviously in terms of treatments as well, I mean, as well as kind of training academies evolving, so have treatments over the years. 10 years ago, everyone wanted the biggest lips possible, whereas now I feel like it's really evolved into skin boosters and looking a lot more rejuvenated. And so as the trends in the industry change, so does the need for different courses as well. So would you say you've sort of seen a real kind of increase in a variation of courses and what people are looking for?
Yeah, I think originally people were after those huge sort of duck lips, wasn't they? And it's, I think it's got such a bad stigma over the years that people just want to look more natural, and they sort of word it as in they want to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
So to just look and feel better, and that's the way it should be. It should be natural enhancements. People coming in asking to look like Kim Kardashian and that type of thing. I mean, you're not going to look like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
You need to look and feel better in yourself rather
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you get people genuinely coming in and just saying like, this is what I want to look like, make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people come in and just say, "Tell me what I need." Do what you want. Tell me what I need, and we just say, "No, it's what it's what bothers you. It's not for me to say what you need doing because then you're just going to cause them a complex. It's
Yeah, of course.
um,
Yeah.
they need to feel comfortable and they need to you need to develop that understanding really.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to kind of the practitioner side of things then, because I think a lot of people who train into aesthetics, they will kind of build their business for a while and then they naturally think that, okay, the next thing is now to become a training academy. Which is
Yeah,
why obviously we're seeing a lot more people training, a lot more need for different academies and that kind of thing. And that was clearly kind of a natural step for you and Emma as well. What
yeah.
would your advice be to somebody who is kind of looking to progress within the industry but doesn't necessarily want to go down the training route?
I'd probably say make sure that your foundations are good. And the reason being, people tend to just want to keep doing course after course after course after course, and then you become a jack of all trades, but doesn't mean that you're going to be any good at it. So you need to perfect what you're doing before you progress.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of people that will do the training, and as soon as they've hit that 6 to 12 month mark, they want to do an academy. But you need to be experienced. You need to be able to answer questions. You need to be able to be that constant liaison for people that you've trained. They need to feel supported. And
Yeah.
if you haven't got that experience behind you to support them, it makes your job very difficult.
Yeah,
And you're opening
absolutely.
yourself up to problems.
Yeah, I think on the support side of things, I think everybody who trains with an academy wants to feel supported. And I think
Yeah,
that is absolutely what can make an academy good or bad, the aftercare
yeah,
support, because, it's all well and good getting people into train, but if you're then just going to ignore their calls and, not give them any advice afterwards, you're really not going to help that person at all. And, when I'm speaking to practitioners every single day, the main concern is I've been trying to get hold of my academy and, they're just not coming back to me, and they promised me they would give me that support.
yeah,
Arguably, people are busy, they might be in busy clinics every day, but still, I think it's
yeah,
so important to, just like client care, student care is just as important as well.
yeah,
And just touching on what you said about becoming a jack of all trades, I think as well there is a lot of pressure within the industry to train in absolutely everything. I need to do
yeah.
skin trough training, I need to do nose training, or there's all these skin boosters I need to train in. But I think from a practitioner's point of view, they need to just look at what their demographic is as well. Are your clients actually in after those types of treatments, or are you just wanting to do it because you think that that will make you an all-rounded practitioner?
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of that, I mean, there is a lot of pressure to do a lot of treatments because if you feel that someone's coming in for a certain treatment or result, and you can't offer that, but your competition down the road can,
Yeah.
you're going to lose the clients. So the pressure's on to sort of have these treatments, but at the same time, you need to be able to do these treatments to a high standard in order to keep that clientele and in order to get your social media marketing and that type of thing. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, if people, there's so much money to be made in this industry. I mean, people tend to be money driven. When if you're results driven, the money will come. So that's the way people need to be thinking, really.
Yeah, 100%. I think, I have this conversation a lot with people whereby, they the whole focus around training in aesthetics is for the money, but it needs to be more than that. You need to have a passion for actually what you're doing, because
Yeah,
if you don't, you're not going to be able to build your client base, and without your client base, you're not going to make any money.
yeah.
So no, I completely agree with what you're saying there. What are you kind of finding are most popular treatments and training at the moment then, just in terms of your area and your clientele?
Um, Training tends to be one of the most popular is probably PRP at the moment.
Okay.
Like the vampire facials, that tends to be one of the most popular trainings. training courses, sorry. Treatments, I mean, Botox always tends to be one of the most popular.
Yeah.
I tend to get a lot of mole removal as well, like skin tag removal. That tends to be quite popular. So I can't think of
Just a
anything
range,
else off the top of
really.
my head. They tend to be
Yeah.
the main ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting
Skin
about
boosters as well. Skin boosters are quite popular.
yeah, I think there's a lot more knowledge now about skin boosters, isn't there? And that kind of ties in with what we're saying about looking younger, looking more rejuvenated. And I think the results are fantastic with skin boosters, particularly if you've got problems with your skin or concerns about fine lines and wrinkles. It's obviously a great treatment to offer and a great treatment to have as a client. With regards to the regulation side of things, obviously still nothing is set in place, but it's something that is always going to be a topic of discussion until that actually happens. And as a training academy, I'm sure you get asked questions a lot by students, what's happening, what do you think is going to happen? What are your thoughts on that? And what are you thinking potentially could be coming up in the industry regarding regulation?
I think it's desperately needed, really. I mean, we see a lot of places that offer like 3 areas of Botox for like £80. And you're thinking, one, the product actually probably costs just as much, if not more than that.
Yes.
Prescription fees, delivery, that type of thing. So where are they getting these Botoxes from? Or botulinum toxin? Same with fillers. I mean, there's just anyone can buy filler from anywhere. And there needs to be some form of regulation there to sort of make it as safe as possible. Because I mean, it's a massive unregulated industry with so many grey areas around it. There needs to be something there to just try and keep people safe.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think as well, when it comes to, I speak to practitioners who talk to me about their training academy and they're like, oh, I just buy my toxin directly from my trainer, no prescription. I spoke to somebody the other day who was using a non-licensed toxin. She didn't even realize that it was not licensed in here in the UK. She had no idea about prescriptions. So I had to obviously go through the Faces app with her and actually educating her on what a prescription is. And that is really concerning for someone who's spent thousands of pounds on their training, and even their training provider is giving them wrong information or just incorrect, which is really concerning. But I think I completely agree with you in terms of safeguarding patients and clinics and practitioners. It is definitely needed. It's actually crazy when you think about it, what is going on. With regards to the success of your business then, because I know obviously the Training Academy is quite new, but you've been doing this for a really long time. You're very much a master in aesthetics, I would say. You're someone who I think a lot of people in the industry look up to. What are we talking on turnover when it comes to the finances? Because that's what everyone wants to know. That's why a lot of people are doing aesthetics for the money.
I mean, it is. So when how do I answer this?
I know it's a bit of a personal question, but it's what everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I mean, we I think last year our turnover was I think before any deductions was about 150,000 through the clinic, and then it's becoming more this year. So I mean, if you do things right, you get your foundations in. And you just keep plugging away, then you just got to keep building from it, really.
Yeah, absolutely, that's it. And when it comes to the success of things, as you say, the money will come if you do things correctly, and you have that belief in its consistency as well. I think a lot of people think, okay, after a week I'm going to be making thousands. No, you've got to remain consistent with everything, even down to your social media, as you mentioned as well. With regards to Faces then, how would you say Faces has helped you in your business and kind of catapulted the training side of things as well?
It's been a godsend, really. I mean, it's your one-stop shop for everything. With the social media manager that you've got on there, we use her. With you know, the networking with all the people that I prescribe for. It's just, you know, that's probably been one of the core aspects to our success, I would say, through Faces.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and we're just constantly trying to grow. And yeah, just as you mentioned about Jess at Plump Marketing, if anyone's interested in her social media services, she is available on the services section of the app as well. But no, we're just continuing to grow. Obviously, like you say, we're a one-stop shop for everything that a practitioner needs, and our developments with the app are very much led by the feedback that you as a prescriber, the practitioners who use us, the training academies who use us give us, and that's how we develop our side of things as well. So yeah, we're just constantly trying to be the best that we can be to help you run your business as smoothly as possible. And just to finish off then, Matt, what advice would you give to somebody who's just qualified and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to build my business, and I don't know what is going on, which is a lot of people who feel that way.
Yeah. I think you need to make sure, see, there's not, in this industry, there's not a lot of people that want to help you, which I've found over the years. You need to build relationships with people in the same industry, even local clinics, just to know that you've got some support, because I mean we're quite lucky that we've got a team. So we've got three to four nurses, beautician, reception. So we've always got somebody to, can you have a look at this for me? Can you have some advice? So you need to have a good support network as best you can. A lot of people start off on their own. Yeah. Find a prescriber that will be there as a constant support for you as well. And just touching on something that I said during the podcast, is be very much results driven. And money will come from that.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I'm sure it is a very lonely place, I think, the aesthetics industry, because like you say, most people do it to have their own business or have it as a side hustle to then go into doing it full time. Not many people kind of join a clinic, so I think making friends in the industry can be very difficult, especially when there's a lot of backlash and it's very tribal, as I've said before on this podcast. But yeah, if anyone needs any advice about anything business wise or faces wise, just know that we are here to support you. Matt is a prescriber on the app as well, so feel free to connect with him. And yeah, you're not alone, so yeah, don't worry. Everybody feels the same way as well, as I'm sure you can agree as well, Matt. But thank you so much for coming on today. It's been really great speaking to you and just hearing about the success of your business. And hopefully in a year's time, we can have the same conversation and, we'll have a lot more to share as well. So thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me.